Welcome to the Wealthy Artist Podcast. And I'm your host, Sarah Clanton.
And I'm Wilson Harwood. And we're talking about how to develop your wealth,
enjoy financial freedom,
enjoy artistic freedom,
and live the life you've always imagined. Welcome, wealthy artists, back to the podcast. Here we are today. It's not just me and Wilson today. We're back together on the podcast this week. But we have a very special guest. Her name is Kyshona. Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Where are you coming from today?
To have you.
Yes, we are so happy to have you.
Thank you. I am calling in from my office space on Rundle Avenue, which is called TM Productions. And then my Your Song office in this amazing collaborative creative art space.
Which is new. This is like your newest business venture, right?
Yes, it is. Yes. And it was very nice. The Nashville scene just did a sweet little write-up of Tasha Marie, the woman who owns the full complex. And just to kind of let the community know that we're here. I moved in here into this office space maybe in, June or July? June. I moved in June. And I have been running my company, Your Song, from home for mostly a year. And then just came on in here, and it's been very nice.
Well, what is Your
Awesome.
Song? Can you tell our listeners, our wealthy artists, what is Your Song?
Yeah, Your Song is a collaborative creative arts, it's a collaborative songwriting program. And my whole goal is to connect with those on the edges of society, those that feel like they have a story they want to tell, or some things they want to get off their chest, or just some thoughts or a gift they want to give. I help them write their song. It's a therapeutic songwriting program.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm sure there's a way better way I could have said that, but
That was great.
Well, no, it was great. I get it for sure.
cool.
And,
All right.
and we just jumped right in, which is amazing. But maybe our listeners need to know a little backstory about how amazing Kyshona really is. And could you tell us briefly just sort of like how you got into music? Because I know it's a unique and fascinating story, and it kind of relates to what you just told us. And then tell us how awesome you are and people you've played with and what you've been doing musically. And don't hold back.
Oh dear.
Tell
This
us
is the
everything.
thing. I don't do well doing, not, gloating. So
Tell us your journey.
Yes. My journey. I started in music, honestly, as a kid. I played piano, and music was my escape. That was my way of kind of escaping some childhood traumas. And I found out when I was in high school about this field where you could combine psychology with music. And I went and shadowed a music therapist in my town. And it kind of changed my life and my trajectory. So I studied to be a music therapist with a concentration in oboe in college, and went to the University of Georgia and practiced for, 14, 15 years, both full time and then doing contract work on my own, and started songwriting with my patients. Like that's where the songwriting started. So I wasn't operating in the normal songwriter ways. I was writing mantras with my patients and doing a lot of like feeling, writing a lot of lyric analysis, And then I, for years I did that. I worked with youth. I was teaching them how to produce music using GarageBand. And then I just hit a moment around like when I was in my 30s of like, I am tired. I'm worn out. I hit a wall, and I knew that I needed to take a step away if I was going to be any good as a therapist at all. And that's when I started doing music full time. And here I am.
And you haven't looked back. Yeah.
I haven't looked back. Well, I mean, I thought I was walking away from music therapy, but here I am right back in it. Like
Right.
with a whole music therapy company.
So
That's
cool. And
amazing.
it's your brand of music therapy.
It
they're
is
not
my
going to
brand.
find this anywhere else.
Yeah. I know. I had somebody ask me, like, what's different about writing with your song versus doing a writing session with a songwriter? And I mean, the only thing I could think of was like, I have years of training in counseling and I'm not focused on whether or not it's a hit song. I'm not focused on the chord structure, the melody. If we can pitch this to anybody, my whole thought process is, how can I make sure that the person I'm writing with, that their words are what the lyrics are. I'm not interjecting myself in their songwriting. I might interject myself when it comes to melody or chord progressions, but not when it comes to the words that they want to say.
More of a reflection.
Yeah. How can this song serve you, the person? Not, as most of us as songwriters are thinking, how can this serve society? Or how can this serve the music industry? This is, how can this song serve you and what you need right now in this moment?
That's got to feel so nice. Yeah.
It does, yeah.
I mean, because I think all three of us can relate to that sort of existential pressure of writing for the industry. But at the end of the day, it's like, it feels so much, and usually the things that work out best are the ones that come from your heart, that are speaking your truth.
That are a story, that, or you know who you're speaking to, or you know who your audience is. I think and you know who it is. It's right there.
They're right there in the room with me. Yeah. Exactly.
That's so cool. I love it. And now you have an actual office space. And how do you like that, as far as, I mean, like being self-employed, you know, and like, they're like, not having an actual physical space that can be your office can be good, can be bad. How is that going? How's that feel to have another space?
Man, it is mentally amazing and great, because it gives me a cutoff. It gives me a definite start and a definite finish, because, you know, before, my office space was inside of my living room. So I would sit down to like rest. Meanwhile, my computer's like ding, ding. Or I'm just staring at the keyboard like, I mean, I could be doing things. So I found myself working until midnight, you know, or waking up at 7 and be like, I guess I'll just go ahead and hop on the computer and start working now. So having a place that I have to get dressed to come into.
Pants!
Right? Pants, honey. Pants. I'm wearing a dress today. I'm like, you know, I'm finding ways to wear soft clothes. But yeah, I have to get in my car and commute. And I have to set a schedule for myself. And now I schedule all of my co-writes and my meetings in here. And it frees me up so that my home space is truly a respite. So when I go home and I close the door, I don't even turn on the computer, because work is done.
Yeah.
You know? So
God, that's huge.
Yeah, it's giving me a boundary that I needed.
I can totally relate, you know, so I'm in my studio right now, and I built this behind my house, and I live at my fiance's house now, so I actually commute to my home. It's complicated, but it's the same thing essentially that you're doing. I get to commute to work, and I usually try to leave by like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, wow. Yeah. You know, I'll bring my guitar or banjo home and like maybe practice a little bit at night or play, but for the most part, I'm pretty average these days.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it, and it's so much healthier than what I did for years, which is like what all artists do. And I think, you know, I'm very grateful I have this situation where I was able to create this space. But if you can create that as a creative, as an artist,
whatever it looks
huge. Yeah. Whatever it looks like, any sort of delineation between your resting area.
Need a she shed, maybe. Maybe I need a shed in the backyard.
You need a she shed. Everyone should have a shed.
I have a friend that has a she shed, you know, and even if you have a basement, some place where you close a door.
I was like, this is actually.
Yeah. And when you close it, you don't see it, and you don't go back in there unless it's the designated hours, you know?
And those hours, like, have those evolved for you over the years? Like, what are your hours look like now, and how would you say that's changed, you know?
Yeah. I actually just had to do another, like, overhaul this past week, because I was waking up around 8 or 9, you know, and then staying up until like midnight or 1. But I'm going back to, right now I'm on the schedule of wake up at 6, and I journal, meditate, pitter patter around the house, water the plants, spray the plants, you know, make my coffee. I can be slow, and I have to be out of the house by 8 a.m. I need to be out of the house by 8 so that I'm in my office at least by 9. And then I'm here until 5 or until my last meeting. And if I'm not here, it just means I need to be out of the house by 9. That might mean I'm going to a session to go do some vocals somewhere, or I'm going out into the community to do nursing homes. But I'm trying to tell myself it's the cutoff thing that's hard for me. Mm-hmm. But I try to be done with work no later than 6:30.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other thing I'm going to try this week is being in bed by 10:30. You know?
Yeah.
That's fun.
I feel you. I am like on the same page as you right now.
Yeah.
The struggle is real, but it feels good when you get it done because the balance is important. Mm-hmm. It's really important.
Last night I went to bed at 10:30, surprisingly fell right out, and then woke up at 5, just like, okay, I guess we're up. Like, you know, your body will tell you, and we're good, girl, you can get up, you know.
I love that. Mm.
Yeah, and I don't have this midday slump that usually comes in right about now. Like, I feel good.
You're more like, sounds like you're like just in touch with your rhythm, you know? Mm-hmm. And like, man, that just got thrown. I've been like really in touch with my rhythm, and then I went to Milo Music and played, and it was so awesome to see you play there. Garage band. I was staying up late, and then I came home, and now I'm not quite back to my getting up early. I don't know. How do you've been traveling a lot, you've been doing some cool things, you've been riding that wave?
It's been really hard, and I feel like maybe y'all can relate if you've been back out on the road. It's
just a little bit.
Yeah,
not me. I live in the studio, but maybe one day, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. It's kind of hard physically for me now and mentally. There's much more to hold in my headspace as far as safety is concerned, as far as my own health, paying attention to my body. And then, you know, I think a lot of things we all learned last year is we were not healthy. And I think we were able to push our bodies past the stopping point or past the breaking point, but that felt normal to us. And, you know, and
totally.
Like, and I realized I don't have it in me to tour that hard anymore. And this past weekend, I just did a 3-day run between Boston and upstate New York. And my flight got canceled because of the storm, Henri, you know. So I had to drive
French?
15. Oh, you know, I guess so. I don't know.
It was a French storm.
Yes, Henri. But my flight was canceled. I had to drive 15 hours.
No.
And it took up, I was like, this is time wasted. Two days of my life were gone driving, but also physically, I realized something that I've never thought of travel days as work days.
Yeah.
And I have a life coach, and she was like, what are you doing? Of course, travel days, that's your commute. Getting to whatever, anytime you're on in an airport, in a car, getting to or from a gig, that's still work, Kyshona. And so, yeah.
Totally. Well, that's a reprogramming, right? That we're doing, because it's like we've been taught that what you're supposed to do is just get out there, sleep in Walmart parking lots. It doesn't matter. Grind, you know, and the hustle. And it's just not. Yeah, I say I'm a recovering workaholic. And I actually was speaking with Susan Hubbard, who I think you work with.
Yeah.
You too, Wilson?
No, I know Susan, and she's written up
we're gonna have to have her on
before. She's awesome.
Have to have her on. And she and I were talking about what I've been kind of calling whatever the touring I'm doing right now, slow it down, and this idea of just more of a lifestyle touring. Like, go to a place. Like, this is what was so cool about Wisconsin was you're there for an extended period of time. Yes. So you can be in the community, or maybe during touring, you know, if you're gone for a week, maybe go to one area and you can like play in schools and do different types of things. So you're not traveling as far all the time, but go to one destination. I love that. I thought it was really easy.
It is great.
What, like, on that note, like, part of your song, one wing of it is that is to address exactly what you're talking about, Sarah, how we tour so much and we forget what town we're in because it's in and out. And I was like, I think I would feel better emotionally, and my spirit would be full if I knew that I had put some roots down in a town for a minute. And so part of your song is when my agent is booking these shows in specific towns, we're asking them, hey, is there anyone in the community that you would like Kyshona to do a therapeutic songwriting group with? And if they say yes, either we do it via Zoom or we're doing it in person.
Cool.
And I'm there a day or two before, and then I bring them on stage during my set and literally give them the microphone to sing their song and perform it.
Wow.
And then these conversations between the community and these young songwriters or older songwriters, or these novice songwriters, the communication can keep going long after we, the artists, leave. Because a lot of times we feel like we make an impact on a community and they're like, cool, bye.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I don't know, I don't live here, but now we could say, hey, y'all can keep this thread going. And also I feel like I've actually poured into a town rather than just like flew through and found the cheapest hotel.
Right. Oh, right. Which is a story we
Yeah.
all kind of try and chase, I guess, for a little while. Yeah, I like this new programming. I like that.
Yeah.
That's so great.
I've always thought that touring with more of a purpose beyond the show itself is a great idea, especially too, like honestly, for marketing and stuff. I mean, you got more of a story if you're doing stuff like that. So you're not only helping this community, but it's like a double thing where
Yeah.
You
can
get a
write
kid on
press release
stage
and
or a
be like,
person on stage that
Yeah.
might not get to do that. That's so cool.
I know.
yeah, it's
so
really
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Unless they're just totally petrified. Have you had people that are like, nope, don't want to do the stage part?
Well, yes. That happened in Dayton. We played the Levitt in the Levitt Pavilion in Dayton, Ohio. And I had been working with this group of young women at the YWCA for since last summer. And so they came up on stage, and before they came back to the green room, which was a big deal for them. They're like, ooh, the green room. This is,
Yeah.
the band does. So we were practicing their song, and a couple of, it was maybe 4 or 5 young ladies, and a couple of them were very nervous, but it was nice to see that I didn't have to play the comforter. They did that for one another. They had seen each other on screen, but never in person. And so there was this moment where they could all, first of all, meet one another truthfully and then pour into each other of like, girl, you got this. I'll be right beside you. We can sing that line together if that'll make you feel comfortable.
Oh, wow.
And I was just standing there with with the guitar in my hand, like, the babies are okay.
Yeah.
They're going to be fine.
Oh,
Look at
that's
those
great.
birds flying from the nest.
Yes, go for it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Like that community, that what's the word? The container that creates for those people is it's just so cool. Oh man, yeah, I love it. I think I'm like doing this new thing where now when I'm on the road, I kind of just really need there to be like a hot tub at the hotel. And maybe an elliptical
Self-care.
machine. Like I cannot believe I'm saying that. I actually started like just making sure I'm like getting a brisk walk or something, moving around, and it's really, I didn't realize how much I've been in my head at home, I think, so I'm really grateful for movement.
That's the thing I'm really wanting to add to my, morning routine is movement. So did you start a whole movement and exercise routine in the past year and a half? No. It's just when you're on the road you try that?
Well, it's just like this new, having a puppy, getting Mavis and
You're doing walks. That's good.
Getting Mavis in end of February really just got me walking. And then I tried like a couple YouTube things, and then my brother's girlfriend has a Pilates Patreon page, or yoga, cool. So I joined that, and sometimes I do that. So it's just, and I like to mermaid and kayak. So
yeah, you do.
So yeah, it can be out of the box, but I really typically hate gyms. I hate it. I don't like that. I want to be outside in nature.
Yeah. I don't really like gyms either. But I think it's great that you're saying all these things like mermaiding and taking your dog on a walk that totally count as exercise.
Yeah, just
people don't realize
sunshine,
that.
moving. It doesn't have to be like buy a gym membership. It could just be walk outside for a couple minutes. So,
which we were doing. That's the thing that I realized. I was doing a lot of walks last year, and then the touring happened again, and now I'm like, why don't I do walks anymore? I mean, granted, it's hot.
It's so hot. That's
there.
Why.
Yeah, that's
so hot. Oh my god.
But
walk to the pool.
Evening. Yeah, walk to the pool. I have been doing some pool time. That's been fun.
That's what we're and I'm telling you, rivers, getting to just put your feet on the ground. That's been so nice. Reconnecting Mother Earth. I don't know if you have any. Do you have any rituals like that? Our woo woo moment. We get kind of woo woo sometimes.
Oh, I have a lot of crystals around me.
What's your favorite? Of the moment?
I keep picking up labradorite. Labradorite is the thing that where's my bag of crystals? Yes. We can have show and tell. I have show and tell.
Show and tell.
Show and tell. So you can, if you're listening right now, check us out on the YouTubes. Because
what I'm awful at is knowing I don't know what these crystals are. I don't know the names of them. I just know I take pictures of what they do.
Yes.
Or you know.
When you when you're buying
goods.
them, the little card that's on the like when you
So I was in Boston, in Cambridge on Thursday night, and I was in my head and I felt like anything that could go wrong during the show was going wrong. I kept having like gadget issues. So I bought this little buddy. I don't know what it's called.
Can you hold it a little closer? I think it's kyanite.
Oh, that's cool.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Kyanite.
Oh, wow, Sarah. I'm impressed.
Right. I'm impressed too. I don't have room in my head for all that. Okay. So I bought that one. And then I bought this little buddy who also like keeps negative stuff away. What's that one, Sarah?
That looks kind of like lava, but it could be obsidian. Which is that lava? I should know that.
It's not lava. Hold on. It also has a name.
Obsidian,
I'll take a picture
maybe?
of that one too.
I don't know. I know some of them. I have a bunch of rocks too.
Yeah, I have.
Crystals.
Do you keep them? Do you keep? This is my little. Oops. This is my labradorite that I
love that.
Oh, that's cool.
Such a cool energetic stone. There's a kind of different kinds of labradorite. There's golden labradorite. There's
I didn't know that.
there's there's different, but it's like the masculine stone, but labradorite's super cool.
Oh, okay. This black one is called Black Tibetan Tektite.
Oh yeah.
It says
Whoa.
raises vibration, strengthens your aura. It's a stone of psychic abilities and clairvoyance. Heightens consciousness beyond current limitations.
Ooh.
So I combined the two of those, and I had no more problems with any technology. The rest of
Interesting.
Amazing.
I'm sure it was all in my head, but still.
But it got you to shift.
Yeah, it helps.
You know, it's kind of like okay, I remember my intuition. Like actually what I love for that is for me, I have this amethyst that my friend Mary Jennings actually gave me a long time ago. Yeah. And like you can put some of them in the bath. So I like to put any negativity dispelling stones that are safe for the water. Check on that because some are toxic. In the water. Yeah,
yeah, I had no idea stones could be toxic, but Sarah has mentioned this before on this podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So I've been doing a lot of witchcraft during during the pandemic.
Mermaiding and witchcraft.
I was Palo Santoing all over this office before I came in today.
Yes.
And because I didn't feel comfortable about lighting up sage or Palo Santo in the venues, I bought some Palo Santo spray.
Yes.
And so I was just like spraying every stage.
Yes.
So we will have no problems today.
I like
Not
that.
today, Satan.
I love that. I mean, and I think there's something to that, like a pre-show ritual, whatever it is for you, that just helps you remember to go in to help you go out, you know? Oh man, it's so good. I didn't really think about that when I was a kid either. Man, I remember the first time I went to play at Rocky Mountain, I went to Rocky Mountain Song School in Colorado. I had a show in St. Louis. I've probably even told this story before. And I drove from Denver to St. Louis and played a show that day. I was in my early 20s. And I didn't take a second to pause before loading in and getting on stage. You just get on stage, do it, go to sleep. Right? And I'm just over it.
Yeah. What's your ritual now then? What's the thing that you do to pause right before?
I'm trying to do more breathing. Even if it's just the circle breathing where you breathe in 4, hold 4, out 4. That one, that's a good question. What has been, because that was crazy at Mile of Music. There wasn't always I'm trying to think of what I did with this last thing, but actually just taking a lot more time. So at a festival, I just have to go back to my room a lot more. I don't hang out as much as I used to. And I, sometimes a little FOMO creeps in, but for our health, so I went out one night at the festival. It's actually the night that you played. And I went out for a couple hours, bopped about, and then I really just stayed in and slept and ate well. And I kind of felt antisocial, but I felt like I had great shows. And that was the first time I'd played 7 shows in a row or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that
God, you had so many.
Well, I had one right after in the Wisconsin area, and I played the Bike to the Beat, which is so I don't remember. Yeah, it was 6 or 7 over a week or whatever,
Oh, wow.
But it was great,
cool.
and I didn't lose my voice. So there we go.
Awesome. Yeah.
Listen, do you have a pre-show ritual?
Yeah, it's interesting because my backstory is that I kind of shifted to production since moving to Nashville. So I haven't played too many shows recently, but in the past, I don't know if I did. I think I was definitely just loading in and I just start playing and get into it. But I do think it's so important to get in the mindset before you get into a show, because there's so much energetic stuff happening on stage. Like most of what you're doing is energetic. We think it's like this technical thing, like, oh, am I going to remember the lyrics? Am I going to like play the right chords, you know? But usually we do that. It's the energy that shifts from night to night, you know, that is the last, I think, icing on the cake with performing. For me, that like when I was on tour, I loved it because after 3 or 4 shows, you were like in the zone. But when it's these one-off shows, I always found it was really hard to kind of mentally get yourself in, right? And I'm sure doing like the 3-day run, it can be kind of tricky.
Yeah, because it is. You get into rhythm and then you're like, oh, okay. I literally just had this talk I had a co-write right before hopping on here. And we were talking about this, you know, especially on a 3-day run, and then day 4 you're ready and it's like, oh, we're going home. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay. I don't want to. I do want to. Emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
I did have a lot of that this time when I went out, and I had to be like, oh, whoa, okay, energetic boundaries here. I have to remember, I forgot how much energy it takes to do it all, and it's great. It's awesome, but and then I get like really excited about everything. But having Mavis on the road, having my puppy on the road, helped me so much keep my feet on the ground, because like I had to get up and take her out, and we're staying far away. But you have a cat, don't you?
I have a cat. He is not a road cat, though. No.
Can you imagine? I don't know. I'm sure there's road cats.
I would love to have a road cat. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Therapy. You could write this cat off.
This is my therapy cat.
Bring it in everywhere. Wear a little vest.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
He would hate me. Oh my God.
What's his name?
His name is Shadow.
Oh, I love it.
Shadow is 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
And he's a little old man with arthritis. And I had to pull most of his teeth last year.
Oh, no.
He had halitosis, and it was like, oh, the teeth got to go. Oh. Okay, so he just had, he like little snaggle tooth.
Yeah.
He's my little boo.
I love it.
I mean, I got him when he was a tiny kitten.
Oh, wow.
And but he is used to me leaving. So I feel like now he judges me that I don't do things as well as the pet sitters do when I come back home. You know, why is my water not refilled every time you come in? You know?
Right. Getting spoiled.
Oh yeah.
So funny.
Mom, I need alone time. This was my time.
Real. Yeah.
Wait, why aren't you on the road?
I'll go in the other room.
Oh my gosh.
Too good. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot how awesome it is having a pet. It's great having a pet. Highly recommend.
How does your dog do though? But when you're playing,
she did great. Like, I can't say her name on the microphone.
Okay.
So much.
Okay.
But I said it multiple times and then she barked. But she did great. She just sat with Andy. Like, Andy was there with me, so she sat with him. And I eventually would like her to sit on stage, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So.
That reminds me of Sublime. This is like way back, but I had a Sublime video, and he would always have his dog running around on stage.
Yeah.
And he shouts him out in the songs, you know, I don't know, Lou Dog or whatever.
Yeah.
This reminds me of that.
Goals.
I'm a big Sublime fan.
Yeah.
Goals.
Yeah, anyways. But I had a couple questions for you about kind of your balance now, because we've been talking so much about touring and health on tour, which I think is awesome. And it's kind of this thread that we've brought up throughout the show over the episodes. And we can never touch on it enough, because it's something that most people don't think about. And but like this balance that you're moving into, is this I assume the pandemic kind of shifted you back towards this office situation, but are you finding that balance to be better for you, and you're kind of like searching for that perfect thing where you can play shows and you can
I'm still trying to find song? Yeah, I think I'm still finessing the balance.
Right.
Because I thought what I wanted when I spoke with my team in late 2020, I was like, hey, no more long runs of just no more house concerts. Just because house concerts for me are exhausting, just because you have to stay on always. Mm-hmm. And I'm an introvert and I need like quiet time where I don't talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to like recharge, you know. I love people who do house concerts. I just know for me, you know. So I had it in my head that I just wanted to play weekend runs but now I'm doing the weekend runs, and it's like I never get settled. It's like I'm gone from Thursday to Sunday, and then I'm in the office Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not enough time to get into either rhythm. So on my 15-hour drive, I was contemplating, you know, again, like
lots of contemplating.
Okay, so much contemplating. Oh my gosh, podcast and contemplating.
Yep.
The next album by Kyshona.
Yeah. Podcast and contemplate. Yes. I think I have so many things in my mind and in my brain that I want to do, but just not enough time. And so I think I need to chunk things off, like do things in chunks. So I don't know, maybe the next step is, all right, maybe I do need to do a 2 or 3 week tour or longer. I don't think so, but a 2 to 3 week tour, and then sit home for the same amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, be still. I'm just not still enough. And so I'm still trying to figure out what it is that my body needs and my brain needs, so that I feel like things are in motion and not sitting stagnant while I'm over here doing this thing. Like, okay, I can go pay attention over here for a minute. I'm dividing my time and my attention. So if I can focus everything over here for 3 weeks and then come over here and focus everything.
Yeah. I don't
know.
I'm amazed that you have sort of the wisdom and self-awareness to be contemplating these things. And like you said, you told your team, like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. And like a lot of people I think would be afraid, depending on their team. Sounds like you have a good team, but like to like tell your team like, hey, I don't want to, you know, I want to cut this income stream off or something. You know, it's like, that's what they hear. They're like, oh no. But it's like, I totally relate to that. And it just resonates so much with what we talk about on this podcast, which is like, at the end of the day, all of this is about you and your happiness and your fulfillment, you know? And it's like, there's so many things we feel like we have to do, but the fact that you're like, you know what, I tried this, it didn't quite feel right, let me try this other thing. I think that that's sort of the dance that is so important.
Because then you can show up
to do
and do the giving that happens from being that like best self. I think that's
exactly. You can't be burnt out.
It's so wild.
I think that's the thing I'm trying not to go back and do is burn myself out. Like I worked myself literally until I was in the hospital. Back in 2018. And it's, you know, I know the warning signs, but like I said earlier, so often we just like fly right through
whatever
them. We fly right through them. And I think something maybe a lot of us learned last year or realized we could do is say no, or we all learn how to pivot too, right? And it's just keeping that lesson that we learned and carrying it into, like, how do we put that into this new way of being?
And like you said, not falling kind of back into old patterns.
Yeah.
So, and that's easy to do because it's comfortable. It's like, even if it's not good for you, it's like this comfortable thing. But also
so
like having a team to help you balance that. Like, if you don't mind, what does your team kind of look like? Because I love the idea that teams could be any kind of way, you know?
Yeah. So for the longest, my team was just me and my agent, my booking agent, David Salada. Always say his last name wrong. But it's Saladay. There it is, David Saladay of the Sparrow Agency. And he's pretty chill. Like, he's said to me so many times in the last couple months, like, Kyshona, the moment you feel uncomfortable or you want to cancel anything, just say the word. And this man just had a baby. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, he and his wife just had a kid. And for him to say, you just let me know if this is too much.
That's awesome.
And so I feel comfortable and safe knowing that I can say, hey, this is a lot, you know? So it was just the two of us for the longest. And only in the past couple of months have I gotten management. So I'm with MMGT, with Michelle Conceição. And that has been, like, I can see the light of how much weight they're going to take off of my shoulders. However, I have to get my mess together to give to them. So I'm still in that phase of giving them all of the assets and giving them the merch so they can do the mail outs and giving them.
That's great.
You know, I just have to get myself in order that way. I keep saying, I just need 2 weeks off. I just need 2 weeks so I can do the administrative stuff to give to them, you know?
Well, and isn't it interesting because I have had the experience of having some different teams, and what that gave me the opportunity to look at was like, oh, wow, how do I even operate? Like, how do I share, like, almost like in writing a song, like, how do I take this idea and make it into a song? Like, how have I even been creating this business and show it on paper? You know? It's kind of interesting.
It's been so cool to have people that can see, like, and get in your brain a little bit and understand you. And Michelle's been really working on, like, learning my brain and what I would say yes to and what I would say no to, and the things that I should probably be saying no to, because I am definitely like, you need help? Sure, I'll come. What? A good cause? I'm there, you know? Meanwhile, I'm just like, I'm tired, you know? So, yeah, and then Susan Hubbard is, she's my publicist.
Yeah.
And the rest of my team, honestly, are my tribe, my friends. They keep me grounded. They are the ones that are letting me know. They're the ones that were like, Kyshona, you need a manager. Because I had been told in the past, like, not yet. Nope, sorry, you don't have enough going for you. Which is disheartening when you feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then people are saying, like, nah, you should do a little bit more. So it was nice to have friends to say, hey, I think you need to ask. And just put it out there. All you'll get is a no. And I'm grateful that Michelle and I were already friends. That she was like, hey, let's just, come on, let's do this thing. I got you. And the newest member to the team is my life coach.
Awesome.
Yeah, you had mentioned that. Cool.
Mm-hmm. This life coach situation is really great. She's the one that let me realize, like, showed me the light of the difference between working out of hustle mode versus working out of genius mode.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which genius mode is where we create from, where we write from. But hustle mode is, we all know what that is. Scrapping. And when you work from hustle mode, you're operating from a place of lack. Right?
Yeah.
But when you're sitting in the genius mode, that creative mode, things are just, like, the amount of ideas that I have in my head are always amazing to me. And so that's, I think, what me restructuring what the road looks like is so that I can make more time for me to be in genius mode.
Yeah.
You know?
Drop the mic.
I love that. Yeah, I was like, this is a clip right here. This is what you would use to promote the episode if you were doing that. I was like, that was it. But that is some
You're in your
serious
genius
wisdom. I've never heard the term genius mode, but I love it.
Dude, that makes so much sense because, like, where do those songs come from? That's how I always feel when they're done. I'm like, well, what happened here? And it's like transcendental experience.
Yeah. We tapped into something way, way higher than us, like up here.
Yeah.
Not from that Scrappy. We trusted that it would come. That's how these songs were created. We trust that it will come.
Yeah.
We make space for it.
It reminds me of what you said earlier about working with your clients and where you have no pressure. And it's like, that's also kind of the genius mode there. Because it's like, as soon as you're like, oh, we got to write a hit song today. It's like, oh, man, that's going to be hard. That's Scrappy mode right there.
Yeah. And see, now, I'll be honest. One of the reasons I started your song as well was I had not written one song during like the shutdown, right? Picking up a guitar or sitting at the piano, like, it was just like a block. And I was worried. I was like, I might be done. There might be no more songs left.
It's over.
It's over. What are we going to do now?
The well is dry forever.
I really did. I was like, well, that was fun. Guess I'll go keep touring this one album that I put out right before the shutdown, but
for life,
for life. But I started these one-on-one therapeutic songwriting sessions, and I amazed myself, and it raised my confidence. The fact that I could crank out 4 or 5 songs a week, sometimes 2 times a day with strangers that I'd never written. And it was because of the fact that no longer was the pressure on, this song can be on an album. Is this album worthy? Is this sync worthy? Where can this song? It wasn't about that. And I still am always amazed that I can show up with an empty page with a stranger on the screen in front of me, and then we write something. And I needed that reminder that I have to take myself out of it.
Yeah.
In order, like, it's not about me, which is the prayer I used to always say to myself before I walked on a stage. That was my grounding moment before the shutdown was, Kyshona, I would just say, get yourself out of the way. God, get me out of the way. This isn't about me. May I receive whatever I need to receive tonight. And if they need to receive something, may they receive it for me. Don't let my mouth and my thoughts get in the way of whatever the message is.
Mm-hmm.
And so bringing that into songwriting, also bringing that into how we live our life. Don't let me get in the way. Don't let my hustle and scrappy mode stop whatever is coming this way, genius-wise, like creatively.
I wish I had like a flashing light that went off every time that scrappy mode happened to me. Like, no, don't go there.
You're in scrappy mode.
Because like it's such a vibe. It feels like such a, I don't know, not fun place. It's just anxious and constricted. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel expansive.
That's your alarm, Sarah. That's the alarm. That's the big flashy light.
The constriction?
Yeah, you just said what it feels like.
That's true. There we go. Thank you.
So it's just us getting better in tune with our bodies of like paying attention when we start to feel like something feels off. Oh, this thing, and having to trace it back. We need to allow ourselves the moment in every day to check in with ourselves. I'm saying this to myself right now, to check in with our bodies and see like, how do I feel right now? Oh, there's a pit in my stomach. I wonder why. Oh, because I'm focusing on Scrappy in a place like from Scrappy mode of like lack.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, totally.
So
I mean, everyone listening
light.
is like, dang, she's so right.
Exactly.
And it's
and they all come up
I was in
different
scrappy mode an hour ago.
Right? And it comes up in different ways for all of us, but you're right. Like, in fact, when we're done here today, before I do whatever I'm doing next, I'm going to take a moment and like lay on the ground and be like, what am I feeling?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's super smart.
Oh man, this is just, so good to have you on the show today, Kyshona.
Thanks for having me. I was like, I don't know what we're going to talk about. But
well, you never know, but I think it's so awesome what we talked about, and it kind of went in a really cool direction.
Yeah. Well, what's
I learned a lot.
I did. I know, it's so great. And now we know that we can like, actually the thing about like crystals and rock collecting on the road too, like you have this awesome story of where you found it and the moment that helped you ship. That's like my favorite part about it.
That's my favorite part too. Yeah.
So great. And all these like cool people you meet with these like gemstone stores, like they are awesome. Usually.
Yeah.
I was in Saratoga Springs and like it was driving down a random street and I was like, that looks like a magic shop.
Yes.
Like, and just you can point them out.
Yep. Totally.
It's true. And then the conversations that happen. My favorite part, I didn't mean to cut you off, Wilson. I'm almost done.
No, you're fine. I'm listening.
My favorite part is especially when around women and we're all talking about crystals that we have and then we all reach into our bras to pull out the crystals that we're carrying in our bras.
Yes.
Because that's our extra pocket, and we can try to keep it close to our heart. Like, hold on, let me check.
Yeah, exactly. I've like totally like come home from playing a show and like taken off my clothes and like, rocks falling out.
Just don't. Oh, hey, that's where she went. Yeah.
I'm a Taurus. I'm an Earth sign. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
Oh man, you guys cracking me up. That's never happened to me, but maybe one day.
I'm saying.
There's still time.
There is definitely still time. Yeah, so we interrupted you actually with telling everybody where they can find your music.
Yeah, what's next?
Learn more about your song, learn all the things that you want people to know about.
Yeah. So they can find more information about me and your song at Kyshona.com. We just bought yoursong.org, so we'll be switching over to that website soon. But for right now, it's just a placeholder, gives you brief little info. Kyshona.com, Kyshona.com/yoursong. And my show dates are up there as well. And people can reach out to me there. Social media, it's just Kyshona Music. And if anybody feels like, I would love to write an anthem for myself, or I want to gift a therapeutic songwriting session to someone or to an organization, just reach out. We're on the path to becoming a 501c3, and our hope is that no one will ever have to feel like they can't reach out for help through songwriting. So, keep an eye on yoursong.org and Kyshona.com for more info on that.
Yes.
When we get there, so we can just apply songwriting to everybody.
I love it. I see it happening. It's totally amazing. It's already happening.
Yes.
It's so cool.
What a beautiful thing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with us today. Oh, it's just always such a delight.
Thank you.
No, it was an honor. I appreciate this conversation, y'all. It's a great way to have a Tuesday like afternoon wind down.
That's right.
Perfect.
Right? Yeah, that's what we like.
Yeah, it's
That's what we roll.
Yeah, you know.
exactly.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Wealthy Artists, for tuning in today. Sorry, Wilson, did I interrupt you?
Sorry, I was
Or are we saying the same thing?
No, I was saying like, oh, we're done, and then you're like...
I guess I was just going to say that you can follow us on YouTube and write us a review.
That's
and
right.
say nice
should
things.
Promote ourselves.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is where we'll add our little ad we keep saying we're going to make, you know. This is like our side little fun thing. Yeah. So, and it's turning into a bigger thing. And who knows? You just got to keep having fun with it. So here we are.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye. That was the best outro ever.
Y'all are so funny.